Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm so excited for today's video to do another one of these murder cases. This is Body on the Boardwalk. I got it off of Amazon. I'll have it linked below if you guys are interested in purchasing it. I feel like the title is probably pretty self-explanatory, but I'll just read what it says on the back here. Life on the boardwalk isn't all fun and games. When an employee at a seaside amusement park turns up dead inside a popular ride, her boyfriend quickly becomes the prime suspect. Is he as guilty as he looks, or did someone else have a score to settle with the victim? Everyone's got something to hide, and only you can uncover the truth. So just based off that, if the boyfriend is looking guilty, in my previous experience as being a detective over here, I feel like a lot of the time they do make it to be like the significant other. When it's specifically saying, is he as guilty as he looks, then I feel like maybe it's not him. Just gonna open it up, and I think this was $30. I did pay for this. It wasn't sent to me or anything like that. I have been getting a couple of comments and messages and emails from previous cases, and I just want to say something real quick that's kind of random. I don't keep these games after I do them. I resell them. Although it's fun, you know, to play this and film it, I really don't have a use for it again. I guess maybe if you have friends or something and you want to bring it to a game night, and you know, if you played it once by yourself and you want to play with them, then you could do that, but I just don't foresee myself ever reusing these games. That being said, if you are interested in anything like to do with the game, asking questions, I don't usually have the game for that much longer after the video is posted. I had a couple emails and comments about sending the game like pictures of like the manual and all the documents, but I don't have the game anymore. Anyways, though, we have the game manual, the intro. Everything is included to solve the murder of Katie Dunn, an amusement park worker who died on the Brittany Beach boardwalk. There is the inventory list. The objective is to identify the killer. First document to look over is from Gray Investigations. Private investigator Michelle Gray outlines the case you've been assigned to solve and gives you tips on how to conduct your investigation. From there, the rest of the documents and items are yours to explore. Read through everything, take notes, and examine the items. If you're feeling stuck and need some help for next steps, try reading through the letter from Maria Palace to give you more details about the case, as well as the suspect profiles to give you more info about the individuals potentially involved. Start putting together a timeline of events and figure out how the documents relate to one another and the characters. The game revolves around finding which suspect had the means, motive, and opportunity to kill Katie. And if you're still stuck, you can go online and then go to hints and reveals for more information. As you go through the evidence, you will find several documents that contain encoded messages. When approaching the codes in this box, try to see if you can crack the code on your own. Check other documents in the box to see if you can find any clues. Usually the ciphers, I think is how you pronounce it, those things are hard. I'm like, are they really using some freaking Morse code? When you think you've identified the killer, you can check your answer by opening the solution envelope. Once you do, there's no going back. Make sure you have opened the locked tin and know all the details of how the murder happened. So that's what's in the game manual. So here's the solution. I'm going to put it to the side. I don't want y'all to think I'm out here cheating. So the first thing we're supposed to read is from Michelle Gray. It says, "Hello, investigator. Thanks for taking this case. I know your client, Maria, will be grateful for your help. Maria has a lot of useful evidence to share with you, and she's already taken the initiative to interview potential witnesses about what they saw on the day of the crime. Since she knows the community so well, I asked her to put together profiles on the people she thinks are the most likely suspects using our Deviant Tracker software. Her notes on each of them should help you narrow the field and find the killer. Her son, Teo, has been arrested for the crime. I can't blame her for trying to look out for her son, but I should warn you right now. Your responsibility is to follow the facts, not to give her the answer she's looking for. She may be the client, but it's your duty to bring the killer to justice, no matter who it is. If I were you, I'd start by working out a timeline of everyone's movements on the day of the murder. You may not be able to account for every moment of their day, but figuring out what they were doing in the hours leading up to and immediately following the crime will help you get a handle on the situation and assess everyone's alibis. If you can prove a suspect wasn't at the scene, they're in the clear. You'll also want to brush up on your code-breaking skills for this case. There's no better way to conceal secret information than with the cipher, and it seems that everyone at Stella Park has something to hide." Now we have a letter from Maria, which is the mother of the guy who's getting arrested for the crime. So this is addressed to Michelle Gray. I'm turning to you because I'm out of options. My son Teo has been arrested for the murder of his girlfriend Katie. Her body was discovered inside the ride our family owns on the boardwalk here in Brittany Beach. Screamerama, what do we think? Screamerama? I don't know. Is one of those old school haunted house rides, but all the plastic skeletons and ghosts with glowing eyes feel like a cruel joke after what happened to Katie. Teo was the one who found her. He always does a walkthrough before he opens the ride for the day just to make sure things are running smoothly. He said he might not have noticed her at all if it hadn't been for the junk on the floor. There was an old keychain lying there next to a souvenir tin with a lock on it and a bloody popcorn bag full of pieces of paper. At first he thought it was trash, but then he saw Katie slumped behind some tombstones in the section of the ride we call Ghost in the Graveyard. He said he tried to help her, but it was too late. Teo asked me to hide the stuff he found near Katie's body along with a napkin with some nonsense scribbled on it. He was terrified the cops would use it against him. I don't know what he thought the police would learn from a random assortment of junk, but I did what he asked. I'm not sure I was right, but what mother wouldn't try to protect her son? After he was arrested, I tried to show everything to his lawyer, but he said he didn't want to hear about me withholding evidence from the police. I even tried to open the tin myself, but I couldn't work out the combination. And then I started to think maybe I didn't want to know what was inside. I know it doesn't look good. Nothing about this looks good. When I first started working here, Stella Park was a pretty nice place. Most of us are struggling just to stay afloat. The tourists think we exist only to take their tickets and clean up their trash. And Stella Park's management exploits us every chance they get. As for the authorities, they're all perfectly happy to write us off as lowlifes and thieves. I can't deny that Teo's got a record. He's done plenty of things that aren't strictly legal. He's hurt people before. He's not making it easy to believe he's innocent. He refuses to tell anyone where he was the night Katie died. I know he's hiding something. I just wish he'd tell me what's really going on. I don't want to believe he could be capable of killing someone he loved. He'll always be the shy kid. Somewhere along the way, that sweet little boy grew up to be full of so much anger that it poisoned him. I don't know where I let him down, only that I can't do it again. I've been asking around on the boardwalk trying to see if anybody remembers something about that day, but there's only so much I can do. I have, as always, a newspaper article. I don't think that the son is the murderer, because I feel like the mom is doing too much work to get him cleared, but then again, I guess mothers do that. So far, I'm just not really seeming that he did it. Newspaper article says Stella Park worker arrested for gruesome amusement park slaying. Police to have arrested a local man, Theo. Oh, I'm calling him Teo, but it's probably Theo, but there's no H. So is it Theo or Teo? I would say Theodore. I'm gonna call him Theodore because that's his real name. And at least I know I'm pronouncing that right. He was arrested in connection with the murder. He was apprehended at his mother's home on Thursday for the slaying of Stella Park employee Catherine Dunn. His arrest ends the BBPD's lengthy investigation into the murder. On November 22nd, Dunn's body, which is Katie, she had been stabbed multiple times. According to the documents, Palace called police to the scene shortly after 11 a.m., claiming to have found Dunn's remains during a routine safety check. He told officers the back door to the attraction had been open when he arrived for work that morning. The Essex County Medical Examiner's Office determined that Dunn had died around 6 p.m. the previous day. While the BBPD initially pursued other leads, the investigation led back to Palace, who was in a romantic relationship with her. The couple was seen arguing outside the ride on the day of the murder, according to police. He was previously convicted of juvenile assault with a deadly weapon in 2017. The charge stemmed from an altercation with Rocco Pereira, another worker, in which Palace attacked Pereira with a knife. According to the district attorney's office, Palace served the entirety of his 8-month sentence at Rogers House, a young adult services detention center. Similarities between the Pereira case and Dunn's murder tipped off police to Palace's possible involvement. We are now confident that Miss Dunn was lured to the ride and murdered by a person she knew well, and we believe that it's Mr. Palace. The community of Stella Park mourns the passing of one of our most beloved members, said her uncle, Vincent Stella Jr. And on the back, there is Opinion, Trouble in Paradise, just another article. It's still talking about her. The shocking murder of an employee may spell the end for a local amusement park that calls itself a paradise by the sea. While the details of this vicious crime alone are shocking, the event is also the latest chapter in a decades-long decline. Popular throughout much of the 20th century, it was founded in the 1920s by local entrepreneur Rosario Stella. Its struggles can be traced back to the 80s when the crime rate of the surrounding neighborhood rose. During the past decade, changes in management, specifically the shift of power from the park's beloved second owner Vincent Stella Sr. to his son Vincent Stella Jr. Even today, park goers might catch the odd phrase in Caesarn, an old-fashioned carnival cant that uses nonsense syllables inserted into words as a way to disguise meaning. This secret language was originally created to keep communication secret from customers, is one of the many charming, if outdated, customs at this colorful institution. Katie's uncle seems a little suspicious and he owns the park. I don't know if he's a suspect. This is our packet of suspects here. I'm just going to share everything else that's included. A good amount of postcards that have writing. This is a lot of reading, y'all. My throat is hurting already. The law offices of Oscar and Grace. A review on Welp. Not Yelp, we got Welp. Assuming this is Katie and her boyfriend. Some emails. I think it's so cute when they have like, oh. Well, here is our cipher on the back. I was gonna say when they include like little souvenirs and stuff. So we have a Stella Park napkin and then one of the ciphers on the back. So this is the stuff that was found by her body. So this is the popcorn with some blood on it, like a map. The tin that has a lock on it, a keychain. It says Darlene's. The first suspect is Dwayne Dolly. He was born in 1975. He's arrested for disorderly conduct and resisting arrest. 1993, pleaded no contest. He's the owner-operator of Dolly's. He runs the Boardwalk's frozen custard shop, which has been in his family for years. He's twice divorced, no kids that I know of, no idea where either of the ex-wives went, but I wouldn't stick around either. He's good friends with Vince. They grew up together, and Dwayne still works for Vince. Since he spends so much time with the boss, he has a reputation for being kind of a snitch. He's got some history with the police, so do a lot of people on the Boardwalk. Katie worked for him for a while until she reported him to the health department last summer for having rats in his food storage area. I can't imagine that was good for business. Let's just say he wasn't her biggest fan. I overheard him telling Rocco that he was closing up shop at the time of the murder. He said he left the Boardwalk the same time he does every day, around 6:30. Notes are from Maria. So we have Theodore. Some notes about him. His dad left when he was 10. He's a lot like his dad, more passionate than is good for him, always getting himself in trouble. He got caught up in some of Vince's more shady dealings. He used to run errands for Vince until he stabbed one of Vince's flunkies. He's been working hard to turn things around since then. He's been going to counseling, and he's helping a lot more around the house. Still has a quick temper, though he's more prone these days to get angry at himself than at other people. He started dating Katie last summer, and I've never seen him fall so hard. I worried that she thought she was too good for him, but she decided to keep working at the Boardwalk after the season ended so they could spend time together. They didn't fight much, but in the weeks leading up to Katie's death, I did walk in on them arguing. I tried to ask him about it later, but he said he wanted to figure it out on his own. He won't say where he was the night of the murder, but he was home when I got back from my meeting around 7. He was really quiet during dinner, and he had a bruise that was already starting to show on his cheek. When I asked, he said he must have run into something while he was fixing the ride. Oh, did I show? Sorry, that was the first, I think I showed. Then we have Rocco. Multiple misdemeanors of public intoxication and disorderly conduct. He's a bookkeeper for Stella Park. He calls himself Vince's go-to guy, but honestly, who knows what he does besides shake down the owner-operators for Vince and push people around. He always struck me as more of a bruiser than an accountant. I definitely wouldn't want him to show up at my door if I were late on a payment to Vince. The only thing those insurance payments cover is making sure someone like Rocco doesn't break your legs. He's the one Theodore got in a fight with a few years back. I heard a rumor that he dated Bethany for a while after she and Theodore broke up. I don't know if it's true, but I wouldn't be surprised. He was behind one of the rides around 5:50 on the date of Katie's murder, having a friendly chat with someone who'd gotten on Vince's bad side. He told me he didn't see Katie at all the day she died, and if he had, he didn't remember. Next, we have Bethany. She's cute. She and Theodore dated for 3 years, fighting most of the time. It seemed like standard teenage drama to me, but I remember after one of their more heated arguments, we found his tires slashed. Bethany was furious when Theodore started seeing Katie. I don't think she ever really got over him. Katie seemed to be going places in her life, and Bethany wasn't really. When I asked her what she was up to on the day Katie died, she told me she dipped out of work early around 4:40 to hang out with her friends down the beach. So then we have Vincent Stella Jr. He's the owner of Stella Park. He's more like a slumlord than an owner. His family bought the land in the 20s, and he rules this place with an iron fist. He's also Katie's uncle. He's the one who arranged for her to work on the Boardwalk in the first place. Since her parents live out of state, she stayed with him. I don't think she was thrilled with that arrangement, but it was convenient. Vince once told me he didn't think Theodore was good enough for Katie. I'm sure he didn't mind watching my boy go down for her murder. The guy has 2 friends, Rocco and Dwayne. The first he pays, the second he grew up with. I doubt there are many people in this town he can trust or who'd be willing to trust him. no prior somehow between collecting money, threatening people he doesn't like, and physically assaulting workers when things don't go his way. Vince ought to be behind bars. According to the cops, Vince didn't report Katie missing when she didn't come home on the night of her murder. Says he stopped by Funnel of Love, the funnel cake shop, around Katie's time of death, but anyone who knows Vince knows not to believe a word that comes out of his mouth. The postcards. First one, it just says, the Sloan twins, local kids who charge tourists to take photos with their boa constrictors, both saw Katie leaving Screamerama around 2 o'clock. She and Theodore were arguing, thought they heard her say the words, figure it out, before she stormed off. Young Ned, old-timer who fishes off the pier almost every day, told me he saw a girl who might have been Katie hanging around where Darlene's used to be right around closing time. Jimmy Gaines, owner of Cool Nanas and the snappiest dresser on the boardwalk, said Katie stopped by to chat and get a snack on the day of the murder. Before she left, she wrote something down on a piece of paper. Addison Vega and Trina Walker, Bethany's best frenemies. Bethany had a drink with them the night of the murder. Showed up to the beach a few minutes before 5, wearing Theodore's old Screamerama hoodie. Kept talking trash about Katie, accusing her of stealing him and saying she deserved what was coming to her. After about 40 minutes, Bethany left looking like she was ready to cut someone. Nobody asked where she was going. Morky Merce and Orloff, 2 low-rent character performers. Oh, it's supposed to be like Mickey Mouse and Olaf. He saw someone about Theodore's height stagger into the parking lot around 6:20 looking pretty roughed up. Ruby Diamond, a retired burlesque dancer. She saw Vince by the info booth sometime right before park closing. He was pacing around the area and carrying a pair of scissors. Marge Nussman runs the ticket booth, said Katie stopped by a little after 2, seeming anxious. Marge led her into the back office. Katie stayed maybe 20 minutes or so, came out holding some papers and looking even more upset. Rolanda Walker works at Snake That, told me Katie dropped by sometime around 3:30 asking questions about the insurance payments. All she could tell Katie was that they'd been normal monthly pickups just like usual. Later, as Rolanda was walking down the boardwalk after work, she saw someone who wasn't Ray leaving Funnel of Love. JC Vickers runs Pandemonium. Said she heard someone screaming while she was cleaning up for the night, but figured it was just someone on another ride. Andy Thurman, the vendor at Papa Joe's Popcorn, he didn't know Katie too well, but said he nearly knocked everything out of her hands when they ran into each other that day. She seemed worried and distant. Andy felt bad for her and gave her an empty popcorn bag to carry everything and a child-sized lemonade to fix her up. Then we have Ray Landry, owner of Funnel of Love and all-around stand-up guy, said Katie came by right before he left for the meeting asking about his payments to Vince. Later that night, someone broke into the shop and cut open every single bag of flour. As Ray was cleaning up the next morning, he found a pair of scissors stuck in the powdered sugar. Someone really had it in for him. He gave me the security alert he got that night just in case I heard anything while I was asking around. Stanley Wang, the angriest man to ever sell a corn dog, remembered a blonde girl loitering at the boardwalk just before closing time that Saturday. Said the only reason it stuck with him was because she kept looking over toward the side of the boardwalk like she had a problem with him. Thought she was holding some kind of box or tin. I think Vincent had the scissors that could have cut the flour. This is the popcorn bag that they gave to Katie. Madam Oracle, the fortune teller, says this mystic lady's second sight will dazzle, dumbfound, and delight. Such wondrous things she will foretell, and if you're wise, you'll listen well. For you, dear seeker, the future is filled with amorous possibilities. Madame Oracle has consulted her powers, and she senses the stars are aligned for romance, either with a longtime beloved or an unexpected new flame. And then it says, K, looks like she was right. And then there's a heart and a T. So I'm assuming this is from Theodore to Katie. All of the payments. There's Swag by the Shore. 3:53 p.m. This person, I'm assuming this is Katie's stuff, bought a souvenir tin, again, which is this. Just some writing on the back. We have a flyer for laser tag, glow-in-the-dark games at Mr. Neon's Glowcade every Saturday 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. On the back it said, he's mine and you know it, meet me at the wheel in 2 hours. So I'm assuming this is probably from Bethany to Katie. This is some ciphering thing. It says confirm amounts, verify pickup. There's wave 18, 26, 24, 20, trident 3, shell 6. And then there's all these little triangle looking things, so I have no idea. So I guess we can see on this map where Katie was headed when she was, at a place at 2 o'clock. When was she killed? November? What's strange is that didn't they say the time of death was like 6 o'clock p.m.? The attraction is open to 6, so it's kind of weird that someone didn't see anything of her getting killed, because it said November 22nd, I think was around in November she was killed, and it says here that the attraction is open from 11 to 6. Number 19 is where she was killed at the Screamerama ride. Next to it is a bathroom there, and then number 7 is Dolly's, and someone who works there. Dwayne Dolly works there. He owns it. Next to that is Diggin' Dogs. This is kind of random, but I've never worked at a Boardwalk, but I'm pretty sure like they probably have access to each thing next to each other. I feel like if we want to blame this guy Dwayne, if we think he's guilty, he could have snuck from his shop over to the ride. I feel like that is probably possible. Or he could go behind the building and sneak into it. So I feel like that's something that could be possible. It's just me making stuff up here. Email Polylock Security on November 21st, 4:48 p.m. It says, "Hello, Ray Landry. All doors are now locked." Then at 6:01, "Hello, Ray Landry. Polylock detected a forced entry at front door at 6:01 p.m. on Saturday." 6:19 p.m. Polylock detected the front door opened after designated operating hours at 6:19 p.m. on November 21st at Funnel of Love. Funnel of Love, let's see where that is at. Number 10 is all the way down here, and then where Katie was killed here. So that's kind of a far distance. Well, this is just the review of Screamerama. She gave 1 star on 11:58 p.m. November 21st, which is the same night that Katie was murdered. If I could give negative stars, I would. Our experience today was a nightmare. Where do I even start? Long story short, we waited in line for over 45 minutes to visit this stinky little attraction and never even got to set foot inside. At first, we were told there were mechanical problems. Let me just say that I am a very easygoing person. However, when the expert addressing these mechanical problems is Screamerama's gangly-looking ride operator, who BTW is armed with only a wrench and a roll of duct tape, that doesn't exactly inspire confidence. I couldn't help but wonder, will my friends be hearing about my tragic theme park accident on the 6 o'clock news? After what feels like an eternity, this kid assures us that Screamerama is good to go. Then, while we're still waiting, wondering if it's even safe to ride this piece of junk, a scary-looking guy sporting some pretty hideous tattoos walks up, grabs Mr. Duct Tape by the collar, and shoves a dirty napkin in his hand. He just shuts everything down and literally leaves the ride with this lowlife. Oh, and P.S. This is all happening 15 minutes before closing with 30 angry customers waiting in line. I emailed the park's owner, Vince Stella, directly and received a reply just moments ago. Not only did he refuse to refund my money, he told me in some very colorful language to get a life. Shame on you. I hope you choke on that. I hope you choke on some of that unbelievably dry Stella Park funnel cake. We know that Theodore and Rocco were getting into it again, and this lady confirms that. We have the law offices of Oscar and Grace meeting to discuss legal action, and it's a meeting between the law office and some of Stella Park's independent owner-operators was called to order by Seth Carlson on November 21st at 5:09 p.m. to discuss options of civil litigation against Vincent Stella Jr. Present, we have Johnny Gino Benny, owner of Ferry Go Round. Seth Carlson is the representative of O&G. Brian Glover, owner of High Tide. Nathan Howe, owner of Block the Dot. John Hurst, owner of Buffet Taco. Misty Klein, co-owner of Swag by the Shore. Ray Landry, owner of Funnel of Love. Peter Orr, owner of Snake That. Maria Palace, owner of Screamerama. Erica Valenzuela, owner of Brittany Taffy. And Jarrell Walton, representative of O&G. So absent was Isabella Sweet, owner of Rainbow Whirls, unexcused. JC Vickers, owner of Pandemonium, excused. And Mark White, owner of Mr. Neon's Glowcade, excused. So in case anyone wants to see that. November 8th, Stella sent one of his goons to assault 2 workers at Buffet Taco because rent was late by a few days. One is currently recovering in the hospital. Neither employee is willing to go on record about the incident. After closing on November 11th, Landry and Stella got into an argument after Landry made a mark about how Stella runs the park. Last week, White spoke to Stella about the increase in his insurance payments over the last 3 months, but reportedly Stella only said the arcade could easily be replaced if White felt the fees were too much. On November 19th, Palace, Valenzuela, and Howe met with Stella to see if there was a compromise they could all make. Stella refused further negotiations and told Palace that if she were to continue interfering, there might be a mishap at Screamerama. The operators moved to discuss possible actions that could be taken against Stella. Carlson acknowledged that while the operators currently lack concrete evidence for charging Stella with theft or assault, he could be charged for racketeering if the matter were taken to a higher authority. This napkin has all the words scrambled. Oh, Vince knows what you did. Keep your mouth shut and CEMO. What can I spell? Keep your mouth shut and come with me to, I think it's 7. So where'd that napkin go? So I don't know at the end. So I was thinking though, like 47, maybe 047 didn't work. But then I thought back to the lucky numbers from the fortune teller. I didn't even read them. Your lucky numbers for love, money, and lotto. That's what this meant. It can't be. I guess maybe it seemed too easy. I feel like it has to do something with the 341. I'm thinking it's 3 numbers in, which would be 4. 4 on the money, which is 7. Lotto is 8. What the hell do we got going on in here? Inside we have a letter from DJ, who is this guy, I'm assuming, and this guy is writing in freaking gibberish here. Vince, Rocco was going over the accounts for the past few months and he noticed a problem. I told him I'd take a look at the books and get to the bottom of it. See what you think. Not trying to tell you how to run your business, but I don't even know where to go with that. So that's what it literally says. So we gotta flip those words all around. All of the business names, and then the owner, operator, years in the business, if there's a lease on file. We also have a fun little game. Have y'all ever been to Cracker Barrel? Because they always have this game there with the little pegs and you jump over. Like they have letters on it. I don't really know what the letters mean. This picture, I thought this was Theodore and Katie. But like the guy in this picture looks kind of blonde, and this one looks more dark haired. Obviously it could be the lighting, but they don't really look alike. But you can see in the background of this, there's a girl standing. The girl in the back, I need like a magnifying glass right now. There's like a telephone booth or something over there. It looks like a Ferris wheel or something. I did go online. I did not find out the answer. I just looked for a hint to see how these triangles have any type of meaning. You are putting the peg into the spot on the triangle where it's showing. The pen and paper out as always. So our letters for the first are CTPK. Then it goes to the bottom, which we have VNIE. The left-hand corner, God, pretty much. GODY. We have to pick one letter from each peg to make a word. I don't think a C can't really make any letter or any word with that. Nothing can be with a V. Nothing can be with an N. Theo. Theodore. This is upside down and it goes in the same spot there. The same thing again. CTPK. VINE. Vine. Teo pickup. Oh. Verify pickups. Teo pickup. Oh wait, at the bottom says this isn't just a mistake. I wonder if someone was stealing money, because we have to verify the pickups. So maybe someone was saying they paid, and maybe that's why Vince is giving them a hard time, because someone could be stealing the money and they're saying that they paid it. So maybe Theodore could have been stealing, or whoever else is picking up the money. SMLF GODY JAUR again. Vine. AS as am al af. Well, if it's AS, it can't make a word after that. AMO, ammo. AF can't make anything. J is out again. This is hard, y'all. Sheesh. Amount, sign, mine, line, or fine. Amount, fine. Amount's fine for that. It just goes down saying if Teo got it, if the amount is fine, collected, payment is fine. Then there's also Dwayne that's part of this too. So Dwayne is the guy that I said earlier has his business next to the amusement park ride that Katie was killed at. At the bottom it says, this isn't just a mistake, need to tell Theo. I'm assuming that Dwayne must have not been, he might have been picking the money up, but he wasn't giving it. Dwayne, which I was just talking about, he was the one that had wrote this letter to Vince. Rocco was going over the accounts and he noticed a problem, whatever. And then, he starts speaking their special language. This, Meet Me at the Wheel, I had said that this kind of looks like a Ferris wheel. It seemed like it was Bethany talking about Theodore's hers. So maybe that must be Bethany in the background there. We're going to go back to this map. Funnel of Love is all the way down here and the Screamerama is all the way down here. So what's nice is they have this little walking distance thing to show. So I would say, what is that? It's probably at least a 15-minute walk, I would think. let's measure it with my finger. Email was sent 6:19 that the front door of Funnel of Love was opened and Katie was killed around 6. So honestly, I'm gonna say the person who killed her walked from here to here because the walking distance makes sense. And then I had said the person had cut up the bag of flour, and I thought it was Vince because it said he was seen with scissors. We're trying to see what's 47? Lot number. Lover's Lane, owned by Max Sutton and Gregory Sutton. Lover's Lane's number 13. So Katie was looking into the payments to Vince. So we're gonna start eliminating some people. We gotta figure some things out. Based off this napkin, Vince knows what you did. Okay, I'm gonna eliminate Vince from the suspect list. I don't really know why he would have a reason to kill his niece. I mean, I know sometimes maybe family might be a little crazy. If anything, Katie seemed to be looking into problems for Vince. Unless she was catching Vince doing something herself, then maybe. This napkin is saying Vince knew what you did, so Vince knows that it's not him, it's someone else. And yeah, I just don't see a means, a motive, or there could be opportunity, but I just don't see him doing that. Bethany, other than her being jealous of Katie, I don't really see the opportunity for her to do it because she wanted to meet up with Katie and Theodore most likely would have been there, so he probably would have stopped it. She said to meet her at the wheel. So down here is the Ferris wheel, which I think is where Katie met with Bethany. And then where she was killed is over here. So it's a pretty short distance. But again, I think that there wasn't really an opportunity for her. We're down to Dwayne, Theodore, and Rocco. So I'm going to get it down to my top 2. I think it's either Dwayne or Rocco. Dwayne was the one that was doing the pickups, and they were saying we need to tell Theodore that there's a problem. Rocco I could see possibly because he might have Vince's trust. I think they even said that. So he might try to pull some slick shit, you know, because no one would suspect him. I really want to find out what this means. So I'm going to go look online for a hint and see, are we supposed to unscramble this? I just don't even think that half of these words make a word. There's a couple hints, but I just looked at one to start off, and it says that the newspaper article helps you decipher their language. And I had read that at the beginning. Uses nonsense syllables inserted into words as a way to disguise meaning. I guess you're supposed to take out nonsense syllables. So let me get my handy dandy notebook over here like I'm freaking Joe from Blue's Clues here. So first word, Hiazow. And then we have MIA. This is all one word. ZANIAZY. I'm assuming the first word is how. I'm going to take out the Z's. Oh, how many? Oh my gosh. CHIAZANCIAZES. Not trying to tell you how to run your business, but how many... Get rid of a couple A's here. Chances does he get? I didn't even read, but I'm going to assume it's get. All right, we got one more sentence here. Basically, Dwayne is telling Vince that how many chances does he get? I teach the kid a lesson. That's where we're going to leave off there. So Dwayne must be talking about Theodore because he's probably what he's calling a kid. I really don't think it's Theodore, so I think it's looking more towards Dwayne because earlier with our ciphering, it was saying that Theodore picked it up, the amount was okay. And it seems like Dwayne is trying to throw someone else under the bus instead of taking the blame. Obviously, we know Rocco was there earlier when the ride was down and was like arguing with Theodore. I don't know, who do I want to choose? I feel like I have everything for Dwayne because he's there. He must have been stealing Vince's money. Rocco, like, we don't really have anything. I don't have a motive for him. I don't know why he would kill Katie. Do we want to lock in that answer of we think it's Dwayne? All right, here's the solution. We have a letter from Michelle. Hello, investigator. Congrats on putting Dwayne behind bars. It's the least he deserves for murdering an innocent girl to cover up his crimes. It can't be easy for Theodore knowing Katie died trying to help him, but he's free now because of you. Maria sends her thanks. She said Theodore's planning a mural to keep Katie's memory alive at Stella Park. Now he can finally get started. You know what? Actually, as I'm reading that, maybe Dwayne wanted Theodore to go down because it would make sense if he killed his girlfriend. So maybe he was trying to do it to put the blame on Theodore so that he would get arrested for her murder, not him, and then he could continue stealing money. A newspaper article says tides turn on the boardwalk. The Essex County District Attorney's Office has dismissed the charges against Theodore. The police department announced last week that Dwayne was apprehended for the brutal slaying after a search of Dolly's home revealed a knife and articles of clothing containing traces of Dunn's DNA. Dolly's subsequent confession has now paved the way for Palace's release. My client is immensely relieved not only to be exonerated but to find justice for someone he loved, said Palace's lawyer, Jarrell Walton. We are doing everything we can to bring Theo home as soon as possible and to put an end to this harrowing deal. According to Walton, Dolly's arrest was made in response to new info uncovered by a private investigator. This evidence revealed Dolly's theft from Dunn's uncle, amusement park owner Vincent. Authorities now believe it was Dunn's attempt to expose Dolly's misdeeds that led to her murder. The Delaware Department investigation launched a full inquiry into the management of Stella Park, citing claims of racketeering and other criminal activity by Stella and his associates. These are accusations the DDI takes very seriously. Organized crime of any kind cannot be allowed to flourish. An anonymous source within the DDI claimed the investigation was initiated after several of Stella Park's owner-operators came forward with complaints that named Stella as the ringleader of a wide-ranging criminal enterprise that includes extortion and protection rackets organized by the management. That is the case. I think the most difficult part are like the ciphers. It's not even that they might be so difficult, it's that they're so time consuming. When I edit this video, you might think, oh, she got that done in 2 minutes. No, I'm out here. I'm either editing it out of the video so we're not sitting here for an hour, or I'm just not filming it because it's taking so long. That being said, I really enjoy doing these cases. I think they're just something fun and different to do. I hope you guys enjoy doing this case with me. Let me know if you'd like to see another one, or if you have suggestions of any that you want me to do. Feel free to comment, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.